Originally, I was supposed to do chemo for 8 cycles. It was the AC, the adrenomycin, um, cytoxin for 4 rounds, and then Taxol for 4 rounds. And it was once every 2 weeks. So I started that, I think it was March 24th of 2016. I'd go in, it was a Friday, usually Friday morning. They would insert the line and then start me with anti-nausea medications. And that would be for about a half hour or so. And then within an hour, they would start the AC, which took about, it wasn't very long, maybe 2 hours. I had learned somewhere along the way about these frozen caps that you can rent out and you wear them during chemo treatments, and it's supposed to save your hair. So I didn't realize how important my hair was until the idea of losing it all was, in front of me. But I looked into these penguin cold caps, and you get these, there's like a liquid and these plasticky Velcroable caps. And the night before, my husband would go to the grocery store, get 80 pounds of dry ice. You get 8 of these caps. You put them in the ice, freeze them overnight down to negative 48 degrees. And you wear the caps during treatment, before treatment, during treatment, and after treatment. And you have to change them out every 30 minutes to keep it at that temperature. So my husband came with me to the treatments, and he would be working. We had the timer going. He would have to try to thaw it out a bit to soften it up so it would wrap around my head completely. And it would be about 8 or 9 hours that I would wear these caps. So that was actually the hardest part, I would say, of my chemo treatment was the cold caps, because by the end, by the last cap, I was just wiped out, and it's like a brain freeze for that entire time, and a headache, and so that was probably the most painful part, I would say. And with the AC, I would come home, I'd have the caps on for another 4 or 5 hours. The first couple of days, I remember feeling pretty well, pretty good. I would even go work out. I was trying to exercise, keep up my exercise during treatments. But then by I'd say day 2 or 3, a little bit of nausea. They give you anti-nausea medications that I took. But I remember just mostly being in bed those 2 days. But I was also working part-time during this time, so I timed it well. I was able to time it so that I'd have the 5 days they say you're not going to feel well off, and then I'd go into work on day 6 or 7. And then the second week, you feel pretty good, pretty back to normal, and then you start again. So it was usually about 5 days where just felt stomach queasiness. I remember not really feeling like eating much. AC was fine for 4 rounds of that, and then we went into the Taxol, and that one was the one that was supposed to be easier according to all of my friends and what I read on the online chats and so forth. But immediately I remember I threw up, and I think it was when I started the Taxol, and then within, I guess, a day or 2 after the treatment day, I just started feeling this mostly in my knees and in my joints and in my feet, and just real pain. And I couldn't stand up out of bed. And then when I tried, I had to hold on to things to be able to walk, and it was just this excruciating pain of, yeah. And so I remember just being in bed, and I was trying to take pain meds, but even the pain meds, I was on oxycodone, which was the best for me, but that wouldn't take the pain away. And so I had called my oncologist and went in and talked with her about it, and she suggested reducing the dose. So we tried again at 25% less dosage, and it was a little better, but not good enough for me to be able to go about my daily routine. So after the second round, I went back, and at that point, the doctor had said that the treatment, the chemo is minimal in terms of effectiveness, and the type of tumor I had was really receptive to the hormone therapy that I would get later. And so the few percentage points I might gain from the chemo wasn't worth the risk of long-term nerve damage. And so we decided to end it after 2 rounds.